RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
Okie doke, how we doing out there in TV land, in this garbage dump of a nation? How's it going? Yes, this is Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk. Sorry for hitting the microphone. Jeez, I don't know. I just have to move this. All right, yeah, I'm sorry for being late, too. Wow, I'm really late. So if you're on any other channel, come on over to youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster, and you can hang out in the greatest chat room in American history. I'm feeling very small in the screen. It doesn't matter. Oh, well. Yeah, thank you for hanging out. This is our regularly scheduled get-together on Friday evenings, and I see the chat room is filling up. There's JD from England. If JD from England can join us, what the hell is your excuse? Nice to see you, Mike from Riverside. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Jim. Thank you, Jim, so much for your super chat, and thank you for being a moderator. Nice to see you, Twisted Nerves Painting. Twisted Nerves Painting has his own YouTube channel. You should check it out. It's really great. Very talented. Twisted Nerves Painting. I love your videos. Just putting it that way. Your painting is pretty incredible, and I also love your cat videos too. So it's good for the soul. And nice to see everybody. Nice to see you, Kathy. Kathy is watching on a simulcast of the Harris rally in Houston. I know, right? I'm competing with Beyonce at the. Oh God, help me! All right, listen. Thank you so much, guys. I had to cover for Mike Malloy yesterday. Sorry, I wasn't able to do a weekday show, but duty called, and I gotta cover for the master. It's just my honor. I can't say no, of course, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. And it also helps the show. And before we keep going, I just want to say thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. I'm really sorry I started the show so late. So I know that you don't like when I start the show too late, but I couldn't help it. That's all I can say at the moment. All right. And Charlie, thank you for everything you do for the show. I got to send you some pictures of the shelters that you bought for the cats, basically out there. The community cats that, winter is coming, even though it feels like spring, but I'm not complaining about that because I like spring. I don't like the winter, and I think of the cats when it gets cold out. The community cats. But all right, well, we got a lot of problems in this country at this point. And thank you, patrons. If you can, please become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. That will help keep the show going and growing. Jim is the only one keeping the super chats going recently, but that's okay. I mean, we'll keep doing a show no matter what. I don't know. I'm worried about November. I'm not. I mean, you know what it is. I'm worried about. I'm worried because I have PTSD. We all do. We have PTSD from 2016. I do think that Harris will win. I hope I don't eat those words, but I don't think so, because the thing with Traitor Trump is that he's never been popular. Republicans haven't won the popular vote since the 80s, 1982, if I'm not mistaken. But they don't care. And this is actually what we were talking about today, because I had to pre-record. I'm also covering, Robin and I are covering for Mike tonight, MikeMalloy.com, and it's on now, I guess. I'm competing, but you could always, if you get a podcast, you can listen to the Malloy podcast, and you should. Because we stick together, we win. But and this is the liberal media. I mean, there's what we're up against. There is no liberal media. We're talking about the corporate media. They're not liberal. They're part of the problem. Why we're in this boat. But the Republicans, they understand that they have a minority. Not only are they a minority party that represents fewer people with a minority ideology, and they receive fewer votes and still get to be in leadership positions. Even though this is part of the problem. Even though, the majority of people don't want what they're peddling, and they know that. That's why they kick people off the voting rolls. Why they don't want a nonpartisan computer program to draw districts. They want to gerrymander districts. And the thing with Traitor Trump is he's never been a popular candidate. Most people hate him. Most people, because they have eyes. It's not because they have Trump derangement syndrome. They have eyes. They have morals, a sense of morals. They have decency, a level of decency, a level of dignity. They love democracy. Maybe they take it for granted that maybe they don't actually get the whole civics thing, but democracy is definitely on the ballot. And the fact is, I'm really kind of sick of listening to the corporate media tell me that people don't care about democracy. They'd rather talk about kitchen table issues, when kitchen table issues and democracy is it's basically the same. So, we already talked about this. Wait, hold on. I'm getting a friggin' error message on YouTube now. See what I'm talking about? Error. You don't do this to me, YouTube. Don't do this to me, Spectrum. At this point of view here. I mean, at this point. We just started the show. I don't want to have to start over. We're already late. All right, let's see if it kicks back in. How is it? We didn't. All right. So, how do I... Oh, yeah, well, that's great. There goes the camera. There we go. All right, we're back. Oh, shit. That's why I say become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. It helps. It helps keep the fucking thing going, I guess. All right, we're already cursing. So, all right. So, Traitor Trump sucks. He hates America, and this is what I'm sick of it, really. So, this is what we're up against. The filthy Republicans. I'm just taking off my jacket because it's hot up in this bitch. Fox. All right, where do I even begin? Because I have some clips I want to play. Fox News. This is the problem. See, and we've been talking about this for years. And every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism, and that is the truth. So now the Republicans on Fox News are dismissing the fact that Trump's longest-serving chief of staff calls him a fascist, says he's fascist to the core. Now, let's just play some of that, just so we can all get on the same page, I guess, right? How's the stream? Let me know if the stream bugs out, because what could I do if that happens? It absolutely makes me sick. These filthy bastards.
What do you think? Do you think he's a fascist?
Well, I'm looking at the definition of fascism. It's a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy. So certainly, in my experience, those are the kind of things that he thinks would work better in terms of running America. Again, back to this issue of, democracy is complicated, messy to operate, probably the worst kind of government there is, except for all the other ones. I think Churchill once said that. and again, our Constitution, our founders built in to the Constitution and to the way our government operates, built in a lot of checks and balances, and didn't design the government to be streamlined and whatnot. So, but certainly the former president is
Traitor
in the
Trump.
far right area. He's certainly an authoritarian. Admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist.
Of course he does. Hold on a second. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin, Unapologetic Liberal Talk. Tarabuster, in other words. So, yeah, I have a whole montage.
Viktor Orban, the very powerful leader of Hungary,
Very powerful.
said when asked what happened with the world that's falling to pieces, there are wars all over, he said, bring back Trump. I got along very well with President Xi.
Because I got along with him. This is what a dumb bastard he is. These autocrats will eat him for lunch, like Harris says. He thinks, oh, I get along with them. They play you like a fiddle, you easily manipulated 12-year-old. My God. See, Republicans don't lack, they don't have the basic decency, maturity, dignity, all of the fundamental elements you need as part of your personality to be able to function in a free democratic society. That's why they pine for Big Daddy to save them from the scary, complex world. And this is why Traitor Trump's closing argument, if you call it that, is America sucks, and we're being inundated with immigrants, and immigrants are poisoning the blood of the people and the nation. He's poisoning the blood. He's poisoning the blood. Poisoning the mind, the everything about this country. He's poisoning it, and God help us if he gets to squat in the White House again, despite receiving fewer votes. It's a goddamn disgrace, and it makes me sick, really. It offends me. Listening to the filthy fascists in the audience praise him. It makes me sick listening to him act like, don't they understand what they're dealing with? But this is why it's really concerning. 35% of human beings they fall into the category of authoritarian followers. What are the other? There's more people that support this traitor, but that's why his support won't go below 35%, because they like this. They never liked democracy. They don't like a multiracial liberal democracy, a nation of laws. They don't want that. They want the hierarchy. And the sad part of living in this effed up timeline is that we see how democracies crumble. And look at Jeff Bezos, the owner of the Washington Post, one of the richest people on the planet, who is really, just like Elon Musk, a testament. He's another walking poster child of why we don't need billionaires, why billionaires shouldn't exist. Billionaires are a symptom of a sick system. And it used to be commonly understood. It certainly was certainly understood by the founders. They understood that concentrated wealth and democracy can't coexist. And Thomas Jefferson talked about progressive taxation. How do you limit the power of concentrated wealth? Because they understood, they weren't idiots. They lived in a world where of intergenerational monarchies and aristocracies intertwined with religious authority, intertwined with the church and state, right? They lived in that world. They were creating something different and new, birthed in the liberal age of enlightenment. It was a radical idea, and just like as Ben Franklin said, a republic, if you can keep it. They weren't idiots. They understood. They knew history. They knew world history. They understood that democracies, republics, that they are tenuous, that they fail, that it takes effort. It doesn't happen by accident. And unlike Traitor Trump, they understood the world they lived in. He is an ignoramus. He knows nothing about history, much less reality, but he thinks he knows it because, he's got good genes. He's a fascist. He's got nothing to fall back on, except the fact that he's a con man who received a trust fund and bankrupted it 6 times and still failed upwards every single time because of enablers. The people who put him on reality TV as a successful businessman. They said they were shocked at the state of his offices because it was filthy. He had a filthy carpet, filthy, tacky office with, run down everything. Because it was not some kind of booming, innovative business. He had, his little tacky Trump, grift, trying to get his name on things. And I guess escape his creditors. There were always, because he was always being put on some kind of allowance. I mean, what kind of successful billionaire gets put on an allowance by the bank because he can't pay his bills? That's what they did. They forced him to sell off his properties, his tacky Trump shuttle that he tried. Everything that he tried, somebody else does better and did better. He's a moron. That's why he wants to be an autocrat. Democracy takes intelligence. It takes morality. It takes decency. It takes understanding, compassion, empathy, willingness to compromise. These are the personality traits he does not possess because he's a filthy, fascist, sociopath, narcissist. And the problem is the people who clap for him and those who enable him, like Jeff Bezos, the coward, who the Washington Post was set to publish their endorsement of VP Harris, just like the LA Times. But they had to run it by their billionaire master. And he put the kibosh on it because, why? They're hedging their bets? They're afraid when Traitor Trump gets back in the office, squats in the office despite receiving fewer votes, that he's going to retaliate? Well, this is why we're in this problem to begin with, because of all his enablers. And now tell me, when in the future, if the Washington Post goes and does endorse candidates in the future, would it hold any weight? Of course not. They have disgraced themselves. And Ed on the chat says, I canceled my LA Times subscription. Good for you. Absolutely. It's absolutely disgraceful. The cowardice. And it goes to show you, just like in the fall of every other republic, the fall of the Roman Republic, and we've talked about it many times on the show, how this is how it happens. The cowardice. The people who go along to get along because they want their little cushy phony baloney jobs and their little greedy, grasping access to power. That's what they want. It's not, they don't have enough money. Like Jeff Bezos doesn't have enough money to stand up to Traitor effing Trump, a con man. Hold on. This is Tara Devlin. Well, here, listen to the Republican dear leader.
Great guy. Wrote me a beautiful note the other day when he heard about what happened. A lot of times the press would say he gets along with Kim Jong-un, North Korea. He's a lot of nuclear weapons. I got along with him great. They said,
You get along with him. It's so embarrassing to listen to him. I get along with him great. He's great. As if they're not playing you like a needy bitch. You know? He's like a needy bitch. Nobody likes a needy bitch. They laugh at him. Oh, he's got nuclear weapons. I get along with him. What do you go fucking picnicking with him? Oh no, I know you write love letters to him. And you want your people to stand at attention like his people stand at attention. That's why I'm so sick of this fucking shitty corporate media that we have talking about how, even today, doesn't matter that his longest serving chief of staff comes out and reveals what we already knew. Of course, that he's a fascist, that he hates America, he's an ignoramus that has no grasp of history, and is corrupt from his stupid comb over to his I can't even think about it. I'm just thinking of his feet at this moment. It's making me sick. It's like Marjorie Perjury Two Toes. But yeah, we already know this, but now, the insiders who worked with him, he never worked a day in his life, but saw him in action, what they say. It's not me, flaming liberal Tara Devlin on Tarabuster, calling him a fascist anymore. Not just me. It's General Milley. It's General Kelly. It's people that you would think they're not exactly flaming lefties. But that doesn't stop Fox News from minimizing. But here, listen to Trump.
President Xi of China. Is he a smart man? I said, no, he's a brilliant man. But can you imagine?
What are you doing? Praising these dictators. It's so embarrassing to the United States. And it's really a disgrace. You want to talk about disgrace? I know that's one of his favorite words. Oh, everything's a disgrace. He's a fucking disgrace. But worse than him are the supporters. That's the people that I can't forgive. They have there's no excuse. And I was telling Robin earlier, and maybe we were talking about it on the show when we were covering, because pre-recording Mike's show, that I went on Twitter today. A lot of times I go on Twitter because I need to grab a video or something, and it's easy to find. But that Twitter is really a cesspool at this point. It's gone. It's beyond hope. Just like Elon Musk. And all of it is, I'm gay and I just voted for Trump. It's like I'm a chicken and I voted for Colonel Sanders, as Robin put it. It's true. The whole timeline. I don't follow these people. We're a gay couple. We're a married gay couple, and we just voted for Trump. I'm trans. I just voted for Trump. I'm black. I voted for Trump. It's the whole thing. I don't know who these effing bots are, and that's what they are. He's opened up the spigot and let the Kremlin, with a fire hose of lies, just spray all that propaganda into the American, the empty head of the MAGA moron. But there's no barriers. There's no gates anymore. There's no standards with these Republicans. And that should say it all, because they don't care winning an election fairly and squarely on the field of ideas. Are you kidding me? They want to seize power because, that's why they're so eager and willing to corrupt the system, because they don't want the system to exist. They've always hated this country. Oh, maybe they like the branding. They like eagles and stars. But they're not just rolling back the New Deal, the progressive era. They're rolling us back they're rolling back the American Revolution. That is the truth. And they should be ashamed. They should be embarrassed. And frankly, I'm sick of them. I will not forgive. I will not forget. I will not forgive anyone who votes for this con man, this filthy fascist con man. Listen to him. Listen to this disgraceful scumbag, this tax-cheating, draft-dodging, dictator-envying con man, what he says about this country.
Right, and we're a dumping ground. We're like a garbage can for the world.
We're a garbage can.
That's what's happened. That's what's happened to. We're like a garbage can. You know, it's the first time I've ever said that.
Oh, is it? Oh, you just came up with it now out of your pea brain?
And angrier. First time I've ever said garbage can, but you know what?
Oh, wow. We were waiting so long. All the anticipation. What's he going to say now? Who's he going to call a horse face or a fat pig? Oh, no, garbage can. Wow. Incredibly astute political observation you got there, Traitor Trump. It's a garbage can. He's talking about the nation of immigrants. He's talking about this country, the shining city on a hill. You know, we went from shining city on a hill to garbage can with Traitor Trump. And that's fine with Republicans. They've turned this, if it's a garbage can, it's, it's because of the maggots. You know, what do you find in a garbage can except maggots? Right? They make me sick. I just wanted to play this video. I don't know why I can't grab it for some reason. Hold on. This made me incredibly sad. So I came across this video. Hold on a second.
You are the memory.
Did you hear it? So this is a video that was created by the French. The French government itself, a few months ago in June, to commemorate the anniversary of the end of World War II, the storming, you know, the anniversary of I should say the beginning of the end of World War II, of the invasion, the Normandy invasion. They welcomed those who, the veterans, the American veterans who survived and are, they're in their 90s at this point, and I guess getting fewer and fewer by the day. But they invited them to France to celebrate their duty and their sacrifice, rescuing France from somebody that Trump admires, that Trump wants to emulate, that Republicans don't give a shit about. You know, these are the same people that talk about, I mean, everything that they've had to drag us through for my entire lifetime. Listening to them complain and whine and groan and moan about bullshit. Oh, what about the children? Or, you know, complaining. Oh, Barack Obama palling around with like some domestic terrorist. He was palling around with some now professor that used to be a radical in the 60s or whatever. I can't remember the guy's name. Somebody on the chat will remind me. But, you know, we had to listen to that. We've had to endure them feign outrage. Because the outrage only extends if somebody has a D after their name. Right? Then they get all faux raged about they're supposedly protecting this democracy. You know, they pretend they have standards. But this really made me sad. Let's watch this video for a sec.
Bonjour, madame. So nice. Oh, you look most elegant.
It's for you.
Formidable. I knew I had to come back.
Welcome to France. What happened here in Normandy links us definitively to the United States, to the Americans.
And for those on the audio only, the Macron's wife is greeting the American veterans that most of them are in wheelchairs. They're well into their 90s. And this is a ceremony to give them the highest French honor. And this really touched me here. This little girl hugging the American veteran. We know everything we owe to them. So they're teaching their young people what the Americans did to liberate them from the Nazis. And now here we are with a wannabe dictator that a lot of people are going to vote for. Hold on a second. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin. You know, shame on those who vote for Traitor Trump. And so let's play this Fox News clip that I have, because all day on Fox News, see, it took them days to talk about the John Kelly saying that Trump is fascist to the core. And not only did John Kelly, it's not him alone. Many of the other people who saw Trump in action, they have come out to validate everything that he said, saying, yeah, this is who he is. But we know, we heard it. You don't have to be, all you have to do is have just a limited grasp of history, of what a fascist is. And you know what Trump is. You know what he is. And, what's really sickening is, how Trump, because he's a fascist, I know you are, but what am I? He calls Democrats, oh, they're fascists, they're Marxists, they're communists. But no one ever stops him and says, can you give me the definition of a fascist? Unlike John Kelly, who, as we heard, went through, he didn't just say, oh, Trump is a fascist. He gave the definition of a fascist. Yeah, he believes in a hierarchy. He believes in violence. He believes in, division. So, I'm just looking for the video. Hold on. So it wasn't left to the imagination, because this is what the corporate media does to us too. They throw things out there as if people understand what it is. We're talking about ignorant people, where some of them will vote for Traitor Trump, of course. They don't know what a communist is. We've played clips of these Trumpansies. They don't know what a Marxist is. They don't know what a fascist is. But that's why Trump can say, oh, they're fascists, they're Marxists, they're communists. It has no meaning anymore. But it's not, it's not Harris. This is the other thing that the corporate media has been doing. They're saying Harris called Trump a fascist. Not Harris. Not Harris. His chief of staff called him a fascist. People who worked with him. So here's how Fox News is handling it after trying to ignore it. I guess they were expecting it to simply go away like the rest of the daily outrages. Come on, play.
People see on another network yesterday, and she was talking about linking him to this rally. He's going to have a rally at MSG.
Yeah.
A lot of people sing, a lot of people perform at MSG. Do you link everyone who's ever performed at MSG to this neo-Nazi rally back in...
Because the Hillary Clinton said because Traitor Trump is having a rally at Madison Square Garden. And this is not a swing state in New York, but it's kind of like, I guess, the way he like, what's his name? I'm trying to, why can't I think of the town? Reagan launched his campaign in the same state and town that the Goodwin, Schwerner, and Cheney, the 3 civil rights workers who were murdered, where they disappeared. And Reagan, not so coincidentally, launched his campaign there, sort of like saying, racists, you have a home in the Republican Party. It's hard for me to say Republican, because it's not the Republican Party anymore. It's the Republican Party. But it's the same thing. This is a signal that Traitor Trump is giving to his Nazis. Because it's like we say, it's not all Trumpanzees are Nazis, but all Nazis are Trumpanzees. So he's having this rally, just like in the way it was back when we had a fascist movement in the United States pre-World War II, the German-American Bund. They kind of fell out of favor after the United States went to war with Germany. But right up until that point, there was a fascist movement that were in support of Hitler and the Nazis. It's shameful. You can watch clips of the German-American Bund rally in Madison Square Garden where they marched down Fifth Avenue. Nazis, literal Nazis, giving the Sieg Heil salute. Swastikas hanging next to portraits of George Washington. That's where we're headed. But it's not. It's the dog whistles that Republicans are really good at. And in fact, they asked Traitor Trump back in 2016 to disavow David Duke, because David Duke had come out and endorsed him. And for those who don't know, David Duke was the Grand Wizard of the KKK. And Traitor Trump's response was, well, Nazis vote too. So
1939. She's saying that's what this is, that Donald Trump is going to MSG. And she says to Caitlin, she says, and I write about it in my book. Yeah. She's trying to sell her book.
Oh, is that it? Yeah, everybody's got a transactional reason for opening their mouth about Traitor Trump. That's because, Republicans think that. She thinks that because she's sitting on that couch merely because she kisses the fascist con man's ass. So if she's transactional, so everybody else should be. She's trying to sell her book. I think she's doing fine without having to sell books. Jesus Christ. It's not like, oh God, I gotta sell these books. She's trying to sell her book. Yeah, she wants people to read a book she wrote. I'm sure she probably wrote it too, unlike Traitor Trump. But minimize what those with eyes, those with integrity, people who, in spite of the threats of domestic terrorism against them, are coming out and sounding the alarm about this unfit grifter he's done enough damage to this country. And I don't want to hear, this whole, the economy bullshit. The economy sucked under Traitor Trump. I don't know where this delusion came from. 1 million dead, worst jobs record since Herbert Hoover, and the economy pre the COVID. Traitor Trump was handed an economy on the upswing thanks to Barack Obama and the Democrats. That's the truth. And then they passed their tax scam. That's when things started to slow down, because whatever Republicans touch, they destroy. And he started with his bullshit, his tariffs. Remember, he put tariffs on something. I can't remember exactly now. Was it soybeans or something? And then he ended up having to bail out the farmers because their businesses were going bankrupt. We had a whole, I'll probably, if I could find that clip. They're saying, oh, you know, I voted for Trump, but this is not good. My business is going under. And thank you, Neromantic, for your super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the community. Keeping the show going and growing. Right, exactly. JD on the chat says, as if capitalism isn't a major part of the USA. This is what the Republicans do on this Fox News fascist network. Oh, you just want money. You're just trying to sell books. Isn't that what they do? Traitor Trump doesn't give a shit about anybody else but himself. He cheats on his taxes and says, that makes me smart. Because the only thing that matters in life to these people is the money. Like Jeff Bezos. How many zeros on his bank account does he have? But he's afraid. What is he afraid of? He doesn't want to endorse anybody. What is he afraid of? He's afraid Traitor Trump's going to come after him? He's going to come after you anyway, booby. That's why you have to fight him. Legally and peacefully. That's why you have to make sure he doesn't become the so-called president despite receiving fewer votes again. So, yeah. Oh, she wants to sell books. Well, she should just give them away. I thought that you didn't like socialism.
2 messages that she's giving. Buy my book, and he's a fascist. You know,
she's so... I love her enthusiasm. The woman, the Fox News flunky. She's so energized. She feels like she came up with a good talking point. This is Tara Devlin. Hold on.
There are 2 messages that she's giving. Buy my book, and he's a fascist.
Why are you so angry, lady?
And then there's this article in the Washington Examiner. It's called Reductio ad Hitlerum.
The Washington Examiner. Okay? This is the news sources they're relying on now. Of course, Fox News is not news. The Washington Examiner is not news. It's propaganda. And it is exactly why the country is so divided. Re-regulate the media. Again, we'll see how the country comes together. That's part of the problem here, but okay. One step at a time.
60 years of Democrats falsely calling the Republican nominee a fascist. And I looked up Reductio ad Hitlerum, and it's known as playing the Nazi card. It's in Latin.
Well, there you go.
And they go through.
You said something that sounded Reductio ad Hitlerum. See, this is how they minimize the truth. Oh, they said a lot of people are labeled Republican. I mean, a lot of Republicans are labeled fascists. Of course, this is not true. Yes, but I will agree. Like they're saying that. Well, let's let them say it first. But basically they're saying like Paul Ryan, Nixon. I've been looking this up, trying to find. Well, where was Paul Ryan, Romney, and Nixon called fascists? It's dubious at best. But okay.
All the lists of every Republican who's ever run for president.
60 years.
And this goes back 60 years. Starting with Barry Goldwater. After, in 1964, he was the Republican nominee. The Democratic governor of California said his acceptance speech at the RNC had the stench of fascism. However, he was the one who was a pilot in the military in World War II, and the Democratic governor of California had no military experience.
What the fuck? What does this have to do with Traitor Trump? You know, Traitor Trump calls everybody a fascist because he's a fascist. But did these people send a mob to storm the Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power? Are these people lying about the election? I mean, there's a lot of difference here. Yes, and I'm of the opinion that, you know, of course, in every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism, and that we should be hyper-vigilant about fascism in this country. in general. As soon as that scumbag came down the escalator calling Mexicans rapists, that should have been the end of it. Most people who aren't racists, who aren't fascists, who actually love this country, recoiled from that racist tactic. Because we've seen it before throughout history. Most recently, on a world stage, most recently or notably in Nazi Germany. But it's an old tactic. They always recycle it. And if you take the conservative agenda to its far right extreme, you get Nazis. Just like if you take the liberal agenda to its far left extreme, you get communism. But that's not what we're talking about. That's why they conflate any attempt to regulate capitalism or make sure that everyone has a seat at the table, or that, Social Security, Medicare, the things that society does together, because we are interdependent creatures and we form governments, we form societies in the hopes of not just making one man super rich, but to promote the general welfare. If you read the founding documents, they're very woke. Promoting the general welfare, we pledge our lives, fortunes, and sacred honor to each other. Damn, that sounds woke. Sounds almost, communist in a way, no, right? To each other. Our fortunes we pledge? To each other? Please. But, they don't give examples. Unbelievable. Trump is a fascist. Poisoning the blood of the American people, the mind, the blood, the soul. What's more fascist than saying that immigrants are poisoning the blood of this country? What's more fascist than a party that has a convention where they hold up signs that say mass deportation now? It's not just the fringe. While the Democrats are chanting USA, not as a means to beat people down with, but as a rallying cry to lift people up, Republicans are chanting mass deportation now. It's terrifying. They are a terrifying group of people. And they are not opposed, and they're not shy using violence. They believe that violence is appropriate. They've done studies. They asked these people, do you think violence is appropriate? And that's what they think now, because they've been primed for this. You don't go from one day believing in democracy and the next day storming the Capitol. It doesn't happen overnight. They've been completely and systematically propagandized by the con man and all his enablers to hate this country, to think that people are out to get them, that their elections aren't legitimate, that if they lose, it's even though Republicans won, they're in the majority in the House. But these same filthy fascists who won their elections are the same ones saying that Traitor Trump's been robbed. So what is it? So your election is legitimate, but the presidency is the one that's stolen from the con man, even though he didn't receive the most votes both times. I know it must be very confusing. It's confusing to me, living in a democracy, why the person who actually receives the most votes doesn't get to be the president, or how Democrats can get 1 million more votes and the Republicans could still be in the majority. This is just It's unacceptable. But okay, listen here.
K. Jr. said, we see dangerous signs of Hitlerism in the Goldwater campaign. And Jackie Robinson said, I would say that I now believe I know how it felt to be a Jew in Hitler's Germany.
Right.
And what's the context? Jackie Robinson said, I now know what it means to be or what it feels like to be a Jew in Hitler's Germany. Yeah, I am familiar with that that quote. And what is the context, though? And it's a completely appropriate context. And they're conflating it with somehow minimizing the absolutely legitimate calls by those who worked with Traitor Trump that he is a fascist. Hold on.
A couple of things, too. Barry Goldwater not paying attention. She should be looking straight ahead in those pictures. We were sitting there taking pictures.
It goes on through Nixon. It goes on through Ronald Reagan.
Hubert Humphrey said this is kind of if the British had not fought in 1940, Hitler would have been in London. And if Democrats do not fight in 1968, Nixon will be in the White House. Okay, it's the same thing.
And then Nixon won.
Right. Here's Hillary.
She knows that.
One other
smart.
thing that you'll see next week, Caitlin, is Trump actually reenacting the Madison Square Garden rally in 1939. I write about this in my book. President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists in America were lining up to essentially pledge their support for the kind of government that they were seeing in Germany. So I don't think we can ignore it. Now, it may be a leap for some people, and a lot of others may think, I don't want to go there. I don't want to say that. But please open your eyes to the danger that this man poses to our country, because I think it is clear and present for anybody paying attention.
Amazing how she does not interrupt her.
So, as far as the Jackie Robinson quote, because they just throw that out there. Jackie Robinson said, I now know what it feels like to be a Jew in Hitler's Germany. She's very outraged, Blondie, whatever her name is. Well, here's the context. Jackie Robinson, who, for those who don't know, is or was a legendary baseball player, right? I'm not a big sports person, so you never know. Most people know who he is, but you never know. He broke Major League Baseball's color barrier in 1947. He was a Republican, well, when they were Republicans, or so we thought. So he attended the 1964 Republican National Convention, and he said that, and I'm just looking it up, he was a delegate at the convention. And hold on, we'll be right back. That's how you keep them coming back. This is Tara Devlin. So, let's see. Jackie Robinson attended the 1964 Republican National Convention as a special delegate supporting Nelson Rockefeller's bid for the presidential nomination. However, the convention proved to be deeply troubling, a deeply troubling experience for Robinson. The party nominated Barry Goldwater, the arch conservative who voted against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Black delegates faced verbal abuse, physical threats, and harassment from Goldwater supporters. Well, that's why. You know, what's the context, Blondie? But I can't believe it. Can you believe it? Jackie Robinson said, I now know what it's like to be a Jew in Hitler's Germany. Can you believe it? Just like they're saying now, when Traitor Trump is having his traitorous minions chant mass deportation now and talking about immigrants eating pets and mass deportation now. It's just so, how could they even make the correlation? It's so out of the realm of decent discourse. In fact, the filthy Republicans, this is what they do. Despite the fact that those two registered Republicans who took a shot at Traitor Trump, the one, you know, that they like, he sells merch about and milks for every grift it's worth. they're saying, the Republicans are saying now that it's, Democrats should stop calling him a fascist because it's inciting violence against the dear leader. They're the ones inciting violence, poisoning the blood. You can't call somebody what he is because it might hurt his feelings, I guess. But forget the mass deportation. And what about the immigrants eating pets? The lie that he will not let go of. The domestic terrorist lie that he unleashed his Nazi followers on the poor town of Springfield. He's not backing down from that, even though how many times have they told him this is a lie? Stop repeating it. You're hurting this city. The very city in the state that J.D. Vance supposedly represents. It's absolutely incredible. And he's even now talking about the people of Springfield, the immigrants, the Haitian immigrants who are here legally. And he's saying, gotta get them out. Gotta get them out. You can't have it. It's that as if they ruined Springfield, which is nothing further from the truth. They were invited to Springfield. And the people of Springfield, in fact, want the Nazis to get the fuck out of there. The Nazis that Traitor Trump inspired. This is a guy, how could we call him fascist? Coming down the escalator, starting his campaign, calling Mexicans rapists. Meanwhile, he's a rapist, by the way. That's the other thing. I was watching MSNBC, and Alex Witt had, for whatever reason, every now and then we got to check in with the Trumpanzees. She had some kind of round table with some female black Republicans who said something like, Harris, she's not black, she just turned black, blah, blah, blah. As if, why do we need these 5 people to, why do we need to amplify that rhetoric? There's not enough of it getting out there and pouring into the empty heads of the MAGA morons. There's other things that we should talk about, like the fact that another woman has come out and talked about how Traitor Trump sexually assaulted her. And there's numerous contemporaneous friends of hers who said that she talked about it when it happened, when back then, where he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. So that could have been on MSNBC instead of 5 black female Republicans saying how much they hate Kamala Harris. It's just, this is what we're up against. We have this going on Fox News, and the so-called liberal media isn't doing us any favors either. So what happens? Alex Witt has those Republicans on her, her airtime, and then Fox News and all the right-wing outlets take it and turn it into a screaming headline. Black Republicans say Harris isn't black on MSNBC, no less. All of this is to set up the canard that Traitor Trump is more popular than he actually is. And they're going to use it as a pretext to cry foul. Stolen election. Here we go again with these filthy fascists. And that's not fascist. What is? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I hit the damn mic, and that sucks.
She did President Trump on the town hall. Julie called him a Nazi. Right. Why interrupt?
And there was no pushback on this. Can we just talk about the fact that MSG is in New York and Hillary Clinton used to represent the state of New York?
So what does that have to do with anything? They're trying to say, so if you have a show at Madison Square Garden, that means you're a Nazi? No. It doesn't mean you're a Nazi, whoever has a show at Madison Square Garden. But when a Nazi has a show at Madison Square Garden, it does kind of harken back to the other time the Nazis had a show at Madison Square Garden.
Does she have any interest of understanding why voters in New York, which is typically a Democrat stronghold.
That's Democratic, but okay. Why? And who's to say these morons are from New York? They don't come. They get bussed in. New York, over 70% voted against Traitor Trump. So, whatever, Democratic stronghold, I'm sure there'll be some coming from Staten Island and Long Island. But a lot of them are getting bussed in. That's for sure. And I'm sure there'll be a larger crowd of protesters than the ones than the Nazis who want to attend this rally to watch this meandering, dementia-riddled con man talk about what? Talk about what? I mean, horse faces and how everyone's picking on him. Oh, it's the worst. Talk about how he's going to deport people. In between, maybe he'll break out another sweating to the oldies or swaying to the oldies. He hasn't broken a sweat since 1971.
A lot of them are voting for Donald Trump. Is Donald Trump going to win New York? Obviously not. But we've never seen a Republican in modern day time come within 5-6 points in the state of New York. And it's because they have bust all these migrants in here and they're feeling.
Fuck you. Really? Sometimes that's all you can say. They bust all these migrants. Yeah, the Republicans do this because they hate America and they want this country divided. They don't want to actually address the problems that we face. They assault. It's like every red states against blue states. That's how they set it up. Right? If you take out the blue states during COVID, Trump said there's hardly any death. And this is what Republicans do. They send people to other states just like they're nothing, like they're pawns. But they don't want to actually have any solutions because that would be adulting. They don't want to call up other governors and say, look, we're stressed here. See, the border states, they get funding to deal with the border, and they would have gotten more funding if Traitor Trump didn't stand in the way of the immigration bill. But just like we all, because we know he'd rather run on a problem than fix something. And the Republicans, they hate people. They hate, people are nothing but pawns, and they hate especially brown people. So use them and trick them into getting on buses and drop them off in front of somebody's house in Martha's Vineyard. And no warning. See, Martha's Vineyard doesn't get funding for the border because it's not a border state. It's just unreal, these filthy fascists. And I wish the corporate media would point out that this is how the right-wingers roll, these right-wing governors, how they treat this country, and how Republicans in general, they treat this country, the states, as if, it's as if they're adversaries, right? New York liberals, Massachusetts liberals, you don't want to be like California liberals, right? They're always attacking other states. Denigrating. There's no unity, except when they want my blue state dollars to prop up their poorly run red states, but they don't have the manners or the maturity to say thank you, because Fox News is telling them how picked on they are, how everyone's taking advantage, and they love it. They love to see immigrants, the vulnerable, the politically unconnected. They love to see them being treated like pawns in this game. This is like the Staten Island, the shameful Staten Islanders, who we played the video. The migrants were being housed in a vacant school. And how did these good Christians greet them? They had rallies outside this school with these scared families. God knows, they travel across a desert, escaping the failed states we helped create, and they end up in some freaking vacant school in Staten Island, and outside are the Trumpanzees have all gathered to chant, "You're not welcome. You're not welcome." Shame on them. You know, they make me sick, these people. But worst of all, they make America sick. They make this country sick. And God help us. We have to get Harris in office, because the fact is, she will not behave like that. She will not target the Trumpanzees, as much as I'm sure Fox News will tell them that she's targeting them, or turning on the Democratic weather machine to go after Moron. This is what we're dealing with. It's unbelievable.
In the pain on a day-to-day basis.
I just used the Google machine, and I looked up because I was curious what that particular event in the 1939s.
You never heard of it?
And apparently there was a German-American Bund held a rally at Madison Square Garden, 20,000 attendees, Nazi armbands.
This is an educated man. He's never heard of this, right? But okay, never heard of this. The history of the United States.
American flags and stormtroopers in the aisle.
I looked it up. Why don't you look up Traitor Trump? You know what you're dealing with. This is the thing that is killing me here. They know what he is. They know he's a fascist. They know he's unfit. But they're doing their best to minimize the actual description of what he is. They're doing their best to make the morons, the racist bastards who watch Fox News, who turn on Fox News deliberately, despite the fact that it had to pay nearly $2 billion for lying to them. You know, imagine hating yourself and hating your country that much that you go and you actively consume a so-called news network that had to pay the largest fine in American history for lying to the viewers, for spreading lies and poison. And the same Fox News that argued in court, with, what's his name, Tucker Carlson, they argued in court that no reasonable person would believe the swill that comes out of Tucker Carlson's mouths. And I'm talking because he talks out of his ass. His ass and his hole. All his holes, just lies come spewing out. But they argued that in court, that Tucker Carlson is not news, he's entertainment, that he's a performer, and that no reasonable person would believe his lies. But they turn that channel on because they want their biases confirmed. Even though, and years ago, there's studies that socialist rag Business Insider had a study or published the study that said that those who watch Fox News are less informed than those who watch no news at all. So they actively consume this propaganda outlet, and that's all it is. It's GOP TV, like Roger Ailes proposed to Nixon.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's going to look like that. I don't think so.
Yeah, it was. We were not in World War yet. We were not in World War II yet. At that point.
Not in World War II yet. Okay, it's past. World War II is past, but okay. He misspoke, but he's also an ignoramus. So.
Do not buy her book. It's terrible. She keeps writing memoirs. No one cares about her life in real time, let alone for her reflections on it. And if you did buy the book, please return it.
Can you return a book after you read it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can?
Say it's damaged. Say it made.
Well, the library it was free.
Well, yeah. What you do is you turn and go, "I'm sorry, this made no sense." And I like you to take it.
Just like, it does make sense though. a bunch of lickspittles sitting around propping up a serial bankrupt con man with a fake university, a multi-level marketing vitamin scam, a history of sexual assault, who met with Putin in secret and confiscated the transcript. You know, the fascist who wants to cancel the Constitution. That guy. Makes no sense. It's absolutely incredible. The fact that they have nothing except lies for the people who who watch their channel. See, it's not Harris, it's not even Hillary Clinton calling Traitor Trump a fascist. It's John Kelly, the former chief of staff. It's Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It's Michael Cohen, his lawyer, who worked with him for how many years? For decades. It's Cassidy Hutchinson, Mark Meadows' aide, who saw him on January 6th. Absolutely sick. Yeah, and Fox News says that lots of Republicans have been labeled fascists. Although, okay, let's see. MSNBC contributor Jason Johnson, yes, called the Republican Party basically a terrorist cell. Yeah, well, he's not wrong. Let's see. Fox News, based on, let me see. They called Barry Goldwater fascist during his 1964 presidential campaign. Goldwater faced numerous accusations of fascism and comparisons to Hitler, rightly earned. And you know, that's one way you can stop being labeled a fascist, is you stop acting like a fascist, right? You stop attacking, using the old racist playbook. But according to the Washington Examiner, this is where they're getting their news, I guess. It's been an integral part of the Democratic political playbook, utilized almost as much as calling the Republican nominee a racist, because they're not racist. When you come down an escalator calling Mexicans rapists, when you say that Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs, not racist at all. Totally not racist. You know, funny though, the racists all think you're racist. That's why the Nazis, David Duke, all endorse Traitor Trump. It's incredible. And we played the Trump boat parade, one of the recent boat parades. They love these boat parades. They love waving their giant made in China flags. But Eric Trump had the organ. Well, I'm sure he didn't organize it himself, but it was Eric Trump's boat parade, and well, look who came to the party. Where's my eCam? Come on, eCam.
There we go. White power.
White power. I mean,
Hail Trump.
Hail Trump. No, he's not a fascist. It's absolutely incredible. Oh, God. Here's another fascist. Here's Tucker Carlson.
That's the point at which you say, no, I'm sorry. I put up with this crap for a long time. I indulge your little fantasy. It's like when your teenage girl becomes a vegetarian, and you're like, okay, that's, okay, it's fine.
Oh, my God. These are the most awful people. And they want to lead a multiracial liberal democracy. It's all about, and this is what I was talking with Robin about earlier when we recorded. is that they can only take democracy to a point. See, and every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism, and we see it play out in our short history. We're not even 250 years old. But every time we make a leap forward, that we extend the franchise of democracy to more than just rich white men, Republicans, or not Republicans, conservatives, they want to destroy the country. They can't take it. They don't like the system of government that the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us. That's the bottom line. That's why they have no problem lying to the American people, like J.D. Vance, the nonstop lies, all of them. It's and I don't know if you saw recently that one of the founders of PolitiFact, finally he came out earlier when he was the head of, or one of the VPs or this whatever, one of the big muckety-mucks at PolitiFact. They asked him, who lies more? Which party lies more, Republicans or Democrats? And he's stayed out of it. It's sort of like Jeff Bezos, the coward. But now, since he's retired from PolitiFact, he said, hands down, Republicans lie more than Democrats by it's by a 2/3 margin or something. Because that's, Democrats don't deliberately poison the minds of the American people. They're too busy trying to actually govern. They believe in government. They believe in democracy. Not that they're perfect, of course, but Democrats aren't trying to twist people and wind them up and set them off to harm their fellow Americans. They have these people all twisted. They think, look at what happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband. They think that's a big yuck laugh riot. But no, they're not Nazis. They're not fascists. This is a guy that said he would pay the bills of the legal bills of his traitors who beat up protesters. And always, just like in a fascist culture, hearkening back to this mythical time that never existed. It exists in their mind back when everything was great, right? And what they're talking about is when Jim Crow, people in their place, women in the kitchen, gays in the closet, trans people don't exist, go kill yourself. Men at the top, they're openly talking about it. That's why they send women to die in back alleys, despite the fact that, abortions are up in the country. The maternity rate, the infant mortality rate is up. This is a result of Republican policies. They don't bring solutions. They bring chaos. They are the agents of chaos. And in that chaos, they exploit the chaos to seize power. And that's why they have no integrity, because you would think that if you love this country, if you love your country and you want to serve the people that you live with, right? That you want to serve your community, you don't lie to them. You serve your community. It's not serving your community to twist them, to put these lies in their empty heads and set them off and make them storm the Capitol over a lie. You don't do that. You want to win. You want to win an election squarely and fairly on the field of ideas. They don't want to do that. That's why they are too busy all over the country. They have all these lawsuits that they're losing one after the other to interfere with the election, but it has nothing to do with the election. It has to do with sowing doubt about the election, so they can say, we filed such and such how many lawsuits to make the idiots who are stupid enough to believe them, to make them go, oh yeah, there's all these lawsuits are happening to address non-existent problems. That's why they're losing lawsuits left and right, because there's no problem in the election. The only problems are the ones they create, and the ones that they created in 2020, that they continue. Well, they created in 2016. I will only accept the results of the election if I win. That's Traitor Trump, verbatim. And then they all laugh. That's the thing that really gets me, when the con man calls, like, for example, America garbage, just a garbage pit, garbage pail or whatever. Garbage dump, yeah. They all agree, they clap, they applaud, they join in. Yeah, what a garbage. What garbage. What a garbage country. I mean, how dare that con man? It infuriates me. The garbage country that those veterans that we saw receiving the highest French military honor, that the garbage that some of them, didn't get to live a full life. They left their full measure of devotion on the battlefield. And for what? To protect the garbage? Is this what you're saying? Of a country that gave this piece of dirt everything? This con man? Bowling on third base, thinking he hit a triple? He has been the albatross around America's neck for too long. For his entire wasted, useless life. There's no one who's more useless than Traitor Trump. That's harmed this country more. I can't think of one. Can anyone think of anyone who's done more damage to this country than that filthy con man and his minions? We can no longer say that we have an unbroken history of the peaceful transfer of power. That's for sure. Everything we're trying to do in this country, it requires some level of maturity. There has to be a level of agreement with the system, that you agree to abide by the rules. But the rules the rules suck when you have to face the consequences for your life of crime, or you don't win the election you lost. God, I hate these people. Oh my God. Guys, that's the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show. I can't believe it. It went by so fast. Thank you for hanging out. Please become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin to keep the real liberal media going and growing. I can't tell you how much it helps. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for all you do to keep the show going and growing. And for the community cats, it makes a difference. It means a lot. And thank you, Jim. Thank you, Neromantic. Thank you, patrons. Patreon.com/TaraDevlin. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. All right, now we can relax a little. Oh, geez, Louise. Let me see. I'm looking for something. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. What are we going to do? Gee, I can't. I'm like so filled with anxiety about this election. And as I was saying earlier, I think Harris is going to win it because Traitor Trump has a floor. I don't care what the the polls, there's neck and neck up in the polls, down in the polls, but we know that there are these fake ass right wing poll organizations that pop up every election, and then they disappear back down the sewer where they came from, in order to give the Republicans more of that, in order to give the Republican assault on America that seeming class or that seeming average Joe stamp of approval. So let's listen to the rest of this.
No, I totally understand. It's a phase. But if that phase goes on for 9 years and includes destroying your major cities... And
what city is destroyed? See, this is where the maggots live. In their maggot fiction, cities are just burned to the ground. And where are they getting this idea? That's why I say it's important